Good afternoon. My name is Samara Raska, and today I'm going to be speaking about Mexican culture. Did you know that Mexican culture is just as spicy as their food? I have thoroughly researched Spanish speaking and Mexican cultures to gain an in depth understanding of the culture to inform you all about it. Mexican culture is heavily influenced by the idea of family and family structure. Today I will explain how the culture is collectivistic, masculine, and very, very far from silent. Now, let's move on to my first main point. Mexican culture is collectivistic. Family values are extremely important. They foster collectivism. People are deeply invested in the well-being of family members. It's common to live and care for extended family members. When parents get old, they go and live with their children. While in America, the elderly are put into homes, which is more of an individualist society. In Mexican culture, that wouldn't be acceptable. Children are raised by family members and not nannies. The families are very bonded, and the family is the ultimate resource for Mexican families. Nationalism plays another big role because in Mexico, a lot of people belong to one culture instead of many, like America's melting pot. Shared values throughout the culture bring the country closer together. They celebrate their country with large and public displays and events. According to Craig Belanger, in Mexico, our world, he said, people will celebrate publicly as opposed to within their own homes. On to the next point, Mexican culture is very passionate and expressive. Mexican culture could never be labeled as silent. In Mexico, people speak to one another constantly. Words are expressed with a lot of emotion and their language is very passionate. There are multiple ways to conjugate verbs based on tense and mood. Their culture is highly social. Some part of this culture may find it awkward to be in a silent room if you are part of this culture. Nonverbal cues, although they're very popular in America, are not really popular in Mexican cultures. They use words that are highly detailed, descriptive, and expressive in their language. For example, expression of doubt may be indicated by facial expressions or shrugs in America. But in Mexico, the verb a is conjugated in the subjunctive to express a doubtful mood. From Spanish learning online is where I received the information about the verbs. Finally, we look at Mexican culture as masculine and not feminine. However, it has parts of both. The Spanish language has gendered words. For example, in Spanish, la mejor means the woman and el hombre means the man. El and la both mean the. But la must go before a feminine word and el must go before a masculine word. Therefore, gender is prevalent starting from the most basic concept, which is language. The culture emphasizes a great deal of family structure, which leads to gender roles. Men are expected to provide with money and stability. And according to Agustin Avila, men would be expected to display a more macho persona, while women are found in the kitchen or in jobs that are more feminine, such as teachers. Men are also expected to be physically stronger than the woman in Spanish-speaking cultures. However, both male and female are expected to express emotion, which is more feminine side of it because they're a very passionate culture. Dancing is considered a form of expression that both the male and female are taught. However, in many other cultures, you would consider dancing to be feminine. Like a lot of young girls in America take ballet as children because their parents want them to be with other young girls their age. You should now understand a bit about Mexican culture. A quote from Daddy Yankee: "I feel so much pride to represent my community and be Latino. No doubt about it. Above my career in sales, being a Latino comes first." Mexican culture is a family-oriented culture, And it is very important that you love your culture when you're Mexican, just as you love being from America, which a lot of people do. I thought that it was a very interesting way to learn about the culture, and I'd love to know even more about certain celebrations, as they have many huge celebrations. Something called Children's Day, and they celebrate the dead a lot, which we don't do. We have funerals, but they prefer to celebrate the life that one lived. So I hope you had a great time listening to my speech, and thank you. Goodbye.